So coming back to boot, the concept of boot, we discussed about boot in brief, but we didn't go into the details of boot. So the concept of boot is all about transferring the control from BIOS to the operating system. So the operating system is in the hard disk and the BIOS is inside the motherboard, the ROM chip. The BIOS has to transfer the control to the operating system. It transfers the control on a specific point called boot sector. So it is a specific region inside the secondary storage or the hard disk. The Toshiba device we saw, it has a boot sector. So it's like a door for a big building if you want to. So it is through the door we enter. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna create a boot disk to boot from. So normal disk doesn't boot. Even if you copy something into some random sectors, it doesn't boot. So you need to copy some specific data into the boot sector. Then only that device will become bootable. So any device, any secondary storage device which has something in the boot disk, something valid in the boot sector called bootable device. Not all the devices are bootable. The CD, Windows 7 CD we saw, the one which we got from Microsoft, that CD is bootable. If you have an audio CD or a movie DVD or something of that sort, that's not bootable. It's boot sector. It has a boot sector, but that boot sector is empty. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a bootable disk to boot from that disk. Any questions? Yeah. Okay.
So this bootable sector can have multiple operating systems in it?
So let me rephrase that question for you. The question boils down to whether a disk can have more than one operating system. The answer is yes. It is called dual boot. Like in the slide, I didn't mention it. Good that you brought it up. A single hard disk can have two operating systems by dual boot, but we are not going to demo it because we used to do that a lot in the earlier days. We used to have single device, hard disk, and we used to have Linux and Windows running in a dual boot. So the answer to your question is yes. A single hard disk with a single boot sector can have two operating systems. In fact, it can have any number of operating systems. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to make a boot disk like we mentioned. We used to burn CD or DVD in the olden days, like in the early 2000s or before. Right now, in the computer we have just made doesn't even have a CD or DVD drive. And right now what we're going to do is we're going to create a USB pen drive with two bootable images, one for Ubuntu Linux and another for Windows 10. So this ISO image we are going to use is downloaded from MSDN of Microsoft. So yeah, one way or the other, you need a bootable secondary storage device to install an operating system. Once the operating system is installed into a particular hard disk, that hard disk itself is a bootable device. So being said that, let's create a boot disk from a bootable ISO. Before that, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little diagram to show what we're going to do in the demo before we get into the real demo.